fall buck. I'm going to start with this morning up on my right. A buck is just a lot to him, a really massive buck. He stands on a really good set of feet and legs. And when you get him into motion, he gets out and he really travels freely. A buck is really opened up and he's round in his cage. You get your hands on him up high. He's got plenty of width and dimension and carries out into his hip really straight and level. I really appreciate about him. The buck in second maybe gives up just some natural thickness compared to our first place buck, a little bit of bone work compared to our first place buck, but another buck that's super straight down his top line, handles out with some length of body and from his 13th rib back. A buck that travels out very well on his feet and legs once again. The buck we round out with, the smallest structure buck of the three we got out here that doesn't bug me. Like I've said before, a buck that when I get my hands on him, he narrows up quite a bit on the top side of his skeleton and the bottom side of his skeleton. When you get him into motion, he gets narrower at the ground compared to the two right in front of him. A buck that just doesn't have quite as much natural thickness to him compared to the two right in front of him. Nice class of fall buck, so let's give him a hand.
Next class is Slick Shorn Winter Ram Lambs. Placing on the class of fitted fall ram lambs, first place goes to entry 568, Pine Knob Farm, 2506, Madeline Syme, South Windsor, Connecticut. That ram weighing 285. Second place to entry 569, Hilltop Dorset's 2505, Abigail Parks, Leyden, Massachusetts. That ram weighing 239, and that was first in the junior show. Third place to entry 570, Alan and Rebecca Peterson, Leyden, Pennsylvania, or Massachusetts.
Here on the winner, Slick Share buck. The buck I'm going to start with, a longer-sided buck from flank to flank. He percents out longer. A buck that stands on some substance of bone. He's bigger up high in his skeleton as far as over the width of his loin and back through his hip. That's where I'd like to change my second place buck. I'd like to just stretch him out a little from flank to flank. Like to just square him up some from his hooks to his pins compared to our class winner, but a nice pair of winner slick shorn bucks.
Now ready in the ring for fitted spring ram lambs, placing on the slick shorn winter ram lamb class. First place to entry 571, WD 1403, Sterling. Kaylee Hayward, North Yarmouth, Maine. That ram weighing 160. Second place to 572, Eva DeGarbo, Ledyard, Connecticut, with Ledyard 2503. That ram weighed 136. While a complete record of the history of the Dorset breed isn't available, a very popular belief is that centuries ago, when Spain was attempting to conquer England, the Spaniards brought with them some merino sheep, which crossed with the horned sheep of Wales. And the result was an all-purpose sheep which met the needs of that time. The breed spread quickly over England. The Poll Dorset originated in the U.S. at North Carolina State College as the result of a mutation which occurred in the college's flock of horned Dorsets. After extensive research and testing, the new strain of Dorsets were accepted into the United States Registry in 1956. Poll Dorsets are an all-white sheep of medium to large size with exceptional body length and muscle conformation. Their fleece is very white, strong, close, and free from dark fibers. Dorsets are one of the few breeds that carry the out-of-season breeding characteristic. Dorsets work well in commercial situations, both in the ewe flock or as a terminal sire. They have grown in popularity to become the #1 white-faced breed in the U.S.
The spring buck I'm going to start with, a buck that stands on a really exceptional set of feet and legs. He's really big in his bone work. Not only that, when you get your hands on him, he's good in his straight down his top line. He's good out over his loin, his hip. Just a really got a lot to him, and especially opened up in his rib cage. That's where he excels. Probably our buck in second. A buck in second, maybe a nickel longer sided buck. Buck. For me, he frails up just at a nickel, and he's bone work compared to our class winner. When you get your hands on him, he narrows up quite a bit compared to our class winner also. But a buck is another one that's really good on the move. He's structurally sound and really correct. A buck in third, a buck, when I get him into motion, this is where his demise is. A buck, he gets up out of his skeleton up high. He gets way out, tucked up under himself. He doesn't handle his rear legs near good enough for me to get him up any higher in class today.
Now ready in the ring for spring ram lambs. Placing on the fitted spring ram lamb class for the Northeast Regional Pole Dorset Show. First place goes to entry 574, Pine Knob Farm, 2544. Pine Knob Farm, Rachel Gately, Summers, Connecticut. That ram weighing 177. Second place and first in the junior show to 575, Orchard Valley, 2538. Abigail Parks of Leiden, Massachusetts. That ram weighing 165. Third, second in the junior show to 573, Cargill Farm 0175, Emma Cargill, New Ipswich, New Hampshire. That ram weighing 163.
Only a single entry here in the Slick Spring buck, but a buck could use quite a bit more competition. A buck, he's really good on his feet and legs. A buck is really opened up in his cage. A buck is extremely heavy muscled, carries it well. Just a high quality individual that could use some more competition.
Now ready for pair ram lambs. Placing on the Slickshorn Spring Ram Lamb class, first place goes to entry number 576, Scotch Lane Farm, 1005, Scotch Lane Farm, Madeline Syme, South Windsor, Connecticut. That ram weighed 182. Now showing a pair of ram lambs. Our next class will be for the open show, fitted champion ram and reserve. Then we'll have an open show Slickshorn champion and reserve, followed by the grand champion ram. Now ready to show for Open Show Fitted Champion Ram. Placing on the pair of Ram Lambs, first place goes to Scotch Lane Farm, Madeline Syme, South Windsor, Connecticut. Second place to Abigail Parks, Leiden, Massachusetts.
Let's give these Dorset fitted ram exhibitors a nice round of applause. There wasn't very many numbers, but I'm going to tell you, the quality was there. I'm really extremely happy with the two I got here on the front. They're very high quality, and they can go play a lot of places. I'll go out and I'll show you the way I like them.
Open Show Fitted Champion Ram goes to entry 568. The first place animal out of the fitted fall Ram Lamb class, Pine Knob Farm 2506, Madeline Syme, Scotch Lane Farm, South Windsor, Connecticut. The reserve champion goes to 574 out of the fitted Spring Ram Lamb class, Pine Knob Farm 2544, Pine Knob Farm, Rachel Gately, Summers, Connecticut. Now ready to show for Open Show Slickshorn Champion Ram and Reserve. Following the Slickshorn Championship, we will be showing overall Grand Champion Ram. So for that Grand Championship, we'll only need the Champion Fitted Ram and the Champion Slickshorn Ram because we're only selecting a Grand Champion Pole Dorset Ram. That'll be our representative in the Supreme Drive tomorrow. The Open Show Slickshorn Champion Ram goes to entry 571 out of the Slickshorn Winter Ram Lamb class, WD 1403 Sterling, Kaylee Hayward, North Yarmouth, Maine. The Reserve Slickshorn Champion to 576 out of the Slickshorn Spring Ram Lamb class, Scotch Lane Farm 1005, Scotch Lane Farm, Madeline Syme, South Windsor, Connecticut. Now ready to show for Grand Champion Ram. We just need the Champion Fitted Ram 568 and the Champion Slickshorn Ram 571 at this time. Following the selection of our Grand Champion Ram, we will be showing our Junior Show Champion and Reserve Junior Show Champion.
I'm going to take a lot of time. The fitted fall buck, he's going to be my champion buck, our Dorset buck today. I really like this buck. I think he's this exceptional individual. He's super correct and straight. And for me, he's going to be your champion buck pretty easily today.
Our Grand Champion Ram for the Pole Dorset Show goes to 568. The Fitted Fall Ram Lamb, Pine Knob Farm, 2506, Madeline Syme, Scotch Lane Farm of South Windsor, Connecticut. And they receive the Nathan Hale Memorial Trophy for the Grand Champion Ram, presented by the Nathan Hale family. Again, now ready to show for Junior Show Champion and Junior Show Reserve Champion Ram. So we need 569 from Abby Parks from the Fitted Fall Ram Lamb class. We need Eva DeGarbo's 572 out of that Slick Shorn Winter Ram Lamb class. We need 575 and 573. 575 from Abby Parks, 573 from Emma Cargill from the Fitted Spring Ram Lamb class in the ring at this time.
Let's give these juniors a nice round of applause. Me today, there's an individual I like fairly well. I'll go out and I'll just show you how I like him today.
Junior Show Champion Ram goes to entry 575. 575 came from the Fitted Spring Ram Lamb class, Orchard Valley, 2538, Abigail Parks, Leiden, Massachusetts. The Reserve Junior Show Champion is 569 from the Fitted Fall Ram Lamb class, Hilltop, Dorset's, 2505, also Abigail Parks, Leiden, Massachusetts. Now ready for Best Headed Ram. Best Headed Ram. So we're our judges evaluating the best-headed ram. Let's introduce him. Our judge today is Jeff Rapaski of Lonsdale, Minnesota. Jeff farms full-time, and he owns and operates Northern Star Livestock Services. They try to run around 350 to 400 head of Southdown and blackface and whiteface weather-type ewes. Jeff has judged numerous state and national shows, including the Big E before, and he's happy to be back here. And he has sat on the American Southdown Association Board of Directors for several years. Let's welcome Jeff Rapaski to the Big E this morning. Best-headed ram goes to 568 out of the fitted fall ram lamb class. That's also our overall grand champion ram. Pine Knob Farm 2506. Madeline Syme, Scotch Lane Farm, South Windsor, Connecticut. Now ready to move into our yearling ewes, fitted yearling ewes. So here's the first polled Dorset trivia question. This is 30 years ago, 1995. Who won the first exhibitor's flock and first breeder's flock and received premier exhibitor and premier breeder honors that year? Sarah got it. Green Mountain of Charlotte. Oh, I thought. Then Sarah didn't get it. Catherine got it. Green Mountain Dorsets of Charlotte, Vermont. They were part of the Aurora Farms. And Sarah, who was the shepherd of Green Mountain? Dave Harmon, that's right. Eric got that. I asked that question earlier in the week. They should have got that. Should have been an easy. Yeah, and that's why you were heard.
I'm gonna be the first to tell you, there was maybe not a big, large amount of numbers, but there isn't a bad ewe out here. I mean, this is a really good set of Dorset yearling ewes. They're all super straight down their top lines. You had to get to start nickel and diming them and taking personal preferences. And the ewe I'm going to start with, a big boned ewe, a ewe that's got some depth body. She's got some turn to her rib cage. Her underline is probably just a nickel better for me than our second place ewe. Both these top two ewes, you can mix them up however you like and justify it. For me, I like the little bit of added bone on our first place ewe. I like the maybe a notch more extension on our first place ewe. That's really getting critical of this top two pair. The second ewe, another ewe is super straight down her top line. A ewe that gets out and moves fluid and free. Another ewe that handles good. Like I said, maybe just not quite as much of her, basically over that loin, back into her hip compared to our ewe we win the class with. But I really like both these ewes as far as the way they're opened up in their cage and they get out and travel. The third place ewe, a ewe just maybe smalls up in her structure a little bit compared to the two right in front of her, shortens up from flank to flank compared to the two right in front of her. But another ewe is super straight in her lines, really opened up in her cage. You get your hands on her, she doesn't disappoint you one bit. She got plenty of thickness working down her top and out through her hip. Another really nice ewe, just kind of got into a couple of real bad ones. The ewe comes fourth, and a ewe that is another ewe. I really like this ewe at times when she's propped up. When I get her into motion, she maybe gets up out of her spine a little more than I care for. She frails up a little bit in her bone work compared to the three right in front of her today, and that's why she's in fourth for me. The ewe in fifth, ewe, it's a real big-bodied ewe. You get your hand on her. She's really wide-sprung in her cage. She's big out her loin and out through her hip. Once again, I get her into motion. She wants to get up out of her spine. If we can drop that and relax it and ease her, I get her up into probably the third hole. The ewe sixth, I left out here a ewe, another one that just a really super correct straight ewe. Not a problem with her. Just she's not near as big and not as much of her as the ones right in front of her today. Get her any higher, but super classy yearling ewes.
Now ready for Slickshorn yearling ewes. Placing on the class of fitted yearling ewes, first place goes to entry 584, Pine Knob Farm 2440 Phoebe. Rachel Gately, Pine Knob Farm, Summers, Connecticut, that ewe weighing 250 pounds. Second place to 582, Scotch Lane Farm, 925 Prim. Madeline Syme, Scotch Lane Farm, South Windsor, Connecticut, that ewe weighing 242. Third place to 580, Madeline Syme, Scotch Lane Farm, South Windsor, Connecticut, that ewe weighing 233. Fourth place to 579, Pine Knob Farm, Rachel Gately, Summers, Connecticut. Fifth place, first in the junior show, to 581, Lobdell, Dorset's 2406, Abigail Parks, Leiden, Massachusetts. Sixth place, second in the junior show, to entry 583, Orchard Valley, 2401, Abigail Parks, Leiden, Massachusetts.
Your slick-shirted yearling ewe class. I'm going to leave them where they stand here. The yearling ewe I'm going to start with, just more of her when you get up over top of her. She got more working back through her hip and through the center part of her stifle. When you get her into motion, she stays fluid and straight. Just a real nice individual. The ewe in second, for me, I'd like to change her from her hooks to her pins. I'd like to give her a notch more added dimension through the center part of her stifle to get her kind of challenge to you. We win the class with. You comes third here in class. You, for me, just not near as much of her. When you get up over top of her, I need to open her up more in her rib cage. I need to open her up more in the center part of her body and in her loin, back through her hip, from her hooks to her pins. Just get her added more thickness.
Placing on the Slickshorn yearling ewe class for the Pole Dorset show. First place goes in open and in junior show goes to 585, Wilfong 24159, Reagan Stam, Mystic, Connecticut, that ewe weighing 162. Second in open second in junior show to 586, Ricochet, Dorset's 2449, Ella Allen, Basra, Connecticut, that ewe weighing 292. Third place in open third in the junior show to entry 587, Ella Allen, Basra, Connecticut. Placing on the pair of yearling ewes for our Northeast Regional Pole Dorset show. First place goes to entry 591, Madeline Syme, Scotch Lane Farm, South Windsor, Connecticut. Second place to Rachel Gately, Pine Knob Farm, Summers, Connecticut. Third place to Abigail Parks, Leiden, Massachusetts. And fourth to Ella Allen, Basra, Connecticut. We are now ready for fitted early fall ewe lambs. Fitted early fall ewe lambs to the ring, please.
Only two in this early fall class. Ewe lamb I'm going to start with just plain and simple, more of her, especially but when you get up over her loin and back through her hip area, that's where she excels. A ewe and second. Both these ewes are really neatly designed. They're pretty in their shoulder and their neck extension and the way they tie in. The ewe and second, for me, like I said, I just like to maybe within her, widen her out and blow her apart from her hooks to her pins and her loin compared to our class winner to get her up around that one today.
Our next class is fitted late fall ewe lambs. Placing on the fitted early fall ewe lamb class, first place to 593, Scotch Lane Farm 963. Scotch Lane Farm, Madeline Syme, South Windsor, Connecticut, that ewe weighing 197. Second, first in the junior show to 592, Pine Knob Farm 2510, Abigail Parks, Leiden, Massachusetts, that ewe weighing 205. Second trivia question. 20 years ago at the 2005 Big E, who was the breeder that had both Champion Ram and Champion Ewe plus won both flock classes and both Premier Awards? And Sarah got that. It was Midhofer Dorsets of Lafayette.
Yeah, I'm going to start with, once again, just more of her. Ewe lamb is super good on her shoulder and her front third of her body. Her neck ties where it needs to. She stands on some substance of bone. If I nitpicking both of them, I'd like to change the way both of them get out and travel. They both want to get up out of their spine and the top side of their skeleton when you put them into motion. I'd like to sure relax out about both of them. The ewe in second, ewe maybe not just quite as neat and tidy in the lower part of her shoulder as our ewe we win with. Another ewe that is real long-sided, percents out super well. Another ewe, but when you get her into motion, she really wants to roach up in her spine. If we can relax that about her, we can probably change the outcome of this class.
Our next class will be fitted winter ewe lambs. Fitted winter ewe lambs. Placing on the fitted late fall ewe lamb class for the Pole Dorset show, first place goes to $5.95. Pine Knob Farm $25.20. Pine Knob Farm, Rachel Gately, Summers, Connecticut. That ewe weighing $169. Second place, first in the junior show, to $5.96. Orchard Valley $24.63. Abigail Parks, Leiden, Massachusetts. That ewe weighing $174.
ewe lamb I'm going to start with. She stays the truest at the ground when you get them into motion. Ewe lamb is really good out through her hooks to her pins or out through her hip and her loin, big and bold up top. Just her shoulder lays really good. Her neck ties in good. She travels as good as anything we got in the class. She's a fairly easy winner for me. The second and third, it comes a little closer. I walked them one last time. I wanted to. The ewe lamb in second, I really appreciate from her for her flank to flank. She's super long bodied. Ewe lamb, for me, she's really immature in her body makeup right at this point of her life. There's not any extra condition on this ewe lamb at all. She's super straight down her top. When you get her into motion, that's why I'd like to change her just a little bit compared to our class winner. And could say the same a lot of the things about the ewe here in third as far as just another really green, young appearing female. A ewe lamb that's got some natural thickness to her. A ewe lamb, when you get her into motion, she stays really true and sound. Just not as much of her from flank to flank compared to the ewe right in front of her today. Then we come into a pair of ewe lambs. A ewe lamb next in line. A ewe lamb is super green. Once again, a ewe lamb, when I get her into motion, she kind of deviates in her spine and her top line compared to the ones above her today in class to get her up any higher. The ewe we round out the class with, I'd like to just change her from a hooks to her pin, especially when I get her into motion. Maybe just stouten her up a little bit in her bone work compared to the ones that stand above her today.
Next class is Slickshorn Winter Ewe Lambs. Placing on the fitted winter ewe lamb class, first place goes to entry 599, Scotch Lane Farm 990. Madeline Symes, Scotch Lane Farm, South Windsor, Connecticut. That ewe weighing 184. Second place to 602, Pine Knob Farm 2529. Rachel Gately, Pine Knob Farm, Summers, Connecticut. That ewe weighing 184. Third place, first in the junior show, to 601, Orchard Valley 2508. Abigail Parks, Leiden, Massachusetts. That ewe weighing 138. Fourth, second in the junior show, to entry 598. Pine Knob Farm 2535, Granger McFarland, Jordanville, New York. Fifth, third in the junior show, to 600. Emma Cargill, New Ipswich, New Hampshire. Another trivia question from 15 years ago at 2010, Big E. What exhibitor had firsts in the winter ram lamb, spring ram lamb, early fall ewe lamb, and get of sire, plus the junior champion ram and reserve grand champion ram, and they won the premier exhibitor honors?
ewe lamb here in this spring slick here that I'm going to start with, or winter slick. Ewe lamb really puts a lot of good things together. For me, her shoulder, the way her chest floor stays up in her when she's into motion. Ewe lamb, when you get your hands on her, she's big and bold down her top and out into that hip. She probably excels a little bit there as far as her structure development and the way her chest floor stays in her compared to our second place ewe lamb. The second place ewe lamb, for me, she gets a little plainer and deeper through the front third of her body. She doesn't hook up near as good in her hip loin juncture compared to the ewe lamb we win the class with. Ewe lamb comes next in line. Ewe lamb is, once again, she's nice in her front third of her body and her chest for her. Ewe lamb, I just need to change when you get her into motion. She really wants to get up out of her spine. If we can change that about her, we probably can move her up into class. And we come in and finish out the class with a ewe lamb. Gets a little plainer through the front third of her body. As far as her underline goes, doesn't balance up quite as nicely as ones above her in class today. Not quite as nice and tidy from her hooks to her pins compared to ones above her today in class also.
Our next class will be fitted spring ewe lambs. Placing on the Slickshorn Winter ewe lamb class, first place goes to 605, Scotch Lane Farm 984. Scotch Lane Farm, Madeline Symes, South Windsor, Connecticut, that ewe weighing 133. Second, first in the junior show to 606, Wilfong 25093, Reagan Stam, Mystic, Connecticut, that ewe weighing 118. Third to entry 604, Madeline Symes, Scotch Lane Farm, South Windsor, Connecticut, that ewe weighing 136. Fourth, second in the junior show to 607, Ledyard 2502, Alana Rubin, Groton, Connecticut. Again, we're now ready in the ring showing fitted spring ewe lambs. The answer to that question from 15 years ago about the exhibitor with first in the winter ram lamb, spring ram lamb, early fall ewe lamb, and get of sire, plus having the junior champion ram and reserve grand ram and premier exhibitor honors, was Christina Rapaski.
Ewe lamb I'm going to start with, just super good down her top line. her really elegant through the third of her body, stands on a really nice set of feet and legs. When you get her into motion, she doesn't disappoint you one bit. The ewe lamb in second, another big structured kind of ewe lamb. Her ewe lamb is real opened up in her body cavity. The ewe lamb for me, there he opens up in her shoulder a bit more than our class winner when you get her into motion. I'd like to change that about her right at the top of her shoulder. If we can do that, we can maybe shake this up a little more. The ewe lamb comes third here in class, just a baby. Just gives up way too much today compared to the two right in front of her to get her up any higher in class today.
Now ready for Slickshorn Spring ewe lambs. Placing on the fitted spring ewe lamb class, first place goes to entry 609. Pine Knob Farm 2551. Pine Knob Farm, Rachel Gately, Summers, Connecticut. That ewe weighing 165. Second place to 608. McFarland 2518, and that's also first in the junior show. Granger McFarland, Jordanville, New York. That ewe weighing 158. Third to 610, also second in the junior show, Cargill Farm 0189. Emma Cargill, New Ipswich, New Hampshire. That ewe weighing 112.
Single entry here in this spring slick-sheared ewe lamb class, but she could stand quite a bit more competition. A ewe is real structurally sound and correct. A ewe is super straight down her top line, comes out into some hip and some natural thickness, an awful high quality individual.
Now ready for Pole Dorset pair of ewe lambs. Placing on the Slickshorn Spring ewe lamb class, first place goes to entry 611. Scotch Lane Farm 1010. Madeline Symes, Scotch Lane Farm, South Windsor, Connecticut. That ewe weighing 136. Final Pole Dorset trivia question. 10 years ago, 2015, a Pole Dorset breeder judged the Pole Dorset show at the Big E in that year. Who was that person? Sarah got it. Dan Speldy. Oh, Rachel got it. I'm sorry. Sarah just claims winning all the time. That's it. Our next class will be for Open Show Fitted Champion and Reserve Fitted Champion U. Placing on the pair of ewe lambs class, first place to entry 614, Rachel Gately, Pine Knob Farm, Summers, Connecticut. Second place to Madeline Syme, Scotch Lane Farm, South Windsor, Connecticut. Third place, Abigail Parks, Leiden, Massachusetts. Fourth place to Granger McFarland, Jordanville, New York. And fifth place to Emma Cargill, New Ipswich, New Hampshire. Again, we are now showing for Open Show Fitted Champion and Reserve U. Abigail Parks, the Tooth Fairy, couldn't find your camper last night, but after the show, you'll find something from the Tooth Fairy up in the office.
Let's give a Poor Dorset female show a round of applause. Hadn't been a really, really big show, but I'm telling you, like I said in the Buck show, it's an awful, awful good set of Poor Dorsets, and I'm sure a lot of them will be in Louisville in a month or a little 2 months, I guess. Just a strong set of females. I'm really happy with everything I got out here. Man, they all get out and they move fairly well for the most part. They're all stand on some substance of bone. They all got some body to them and some thickness and some natural muscle. And I'll go out and I'll show you the two I like the best today.
Our open show fitted champion U goes to entry 584 from the fitted yearling U class, Pine Knob Farm 2440. Pine Knob Farm, Rachel Gately, Summers, Connecticut. The reserve goes to entry 582, also from that fitted yearling U class, Scotch Lane Farm 925, Prim. Scotch Lane Farm, Madeline Syme, South Windsor, Connecticut. Next class is for our open show Slick Shorn champion U and reserve.
for your slick-shared horn or slick-shared Dorset champion female. Debbie said that they kind of had to just split them up so they get some more slick-shared classes and more participation. I want to encourage the breeders to do that. This has been a really nice show. It's not been very big, but there's some high-quality individuals out here. There's one that's pretty much my speed. She hits me the way I like to make them built when we're making kind of slick sheared sheep, more leaning towards the weather side of things. But there's a female out here that I like awful well. She's built really well. She's shallow. She's made good. Her neck's right. I'll go out and I'll show you the one I like, and I'll show you my reserve.
Open show champion U goes to entry number 605 out of the Slickshorn Winter Ewe Lamb class, Scotch Lane Farm 984, Scotch Lane Farm, Madeline Syme, South Windsor, Connecticut. The reserve Slickshorn champion to 611 from the Slickshorn Spring Ewe Lamb class, Scotch Lane Farm 1010, Scotch Lane Farm, Madeline Syme, South Windsor, Connecticut. We're now ready to show for Grand Champion U. So we'll need that Slickshorn champion and the fitted champion back in the ring at this time. In this Grand Champion U drive, Rachel Gately, Pine Knob Farm, Somers, Connecticut, presents and offers the award for this class.
I'm not going to take a lot of time. Those are two awful nice females. For me today, I really like that fitted yearling ewe, and Rachel's going to win her own award that she donates. That's an awful good yearling ewe. I'd be curious to see her in November. She's awful good. Congrats.
Grand Champion U goes to entry 584. 584 was our fitted champion U. Pine Knob Farm 2440. Pine Knob Farm Phoebe, Rachel Gately, Somers, Connecticut. And that was on a yearling ewe. Now ready to show for our junior show champion and reserve champion U. So we need 581 from Abigail Parks and 583 from Abigail Parks on the fitted yearling ewes. We need 585 and 586, 585 of Reagan Stam and 586 of Ella Allen from the Slickshorn yearling ewes. We need 592 from Abigail Parks from the fitted early fall ewe lamb, 596 of Abigail Parks from the fitted late fall ewe lamb, 601 of Abigail Parks from the fitted winter ewe lamb, 598 of Granger McFarland from the fitted winter ewe lamb class. We need from the Slickshorn winter ewe lamb class 606 of Reagan Stam and 607 of Alana Rubin. We need from the fitted spring ewe lamb 609. No, take that back. $609 from Granger McFarland and 610 of Emma Cargill.
This is an awful nice lineup of Dorset females for your junior show. Let's give all the junior kids exhibit a nice round of applause. I'll go out and I'll show you the two I like the best today.
Our junior show champion U was 592. 592 came out of the fitted early fall ewe lamb class, Pine Knob Farm, 2510, Abigail Parks, Leiden, Massachusetts. The reserve champion from the junior show is 584 out of the fitted yearling ewe class, 581 out of the fitted yearling ewe class, Lobdell, Dorset's 2406, Abigail Parks, Leiden, Massachusetts. Now ready for best headed ewe. The Best Headed Ewe Award is sponsored by Orchard Valley Farm, the Petersons of Leiden, Massachusetts. Best headed ewe for our show came out of the yearling ewe class. Entry number 582, it's Scotch Lane Farm, 925, Prim. Scotch Lane Farm, Madeline Syme, South Windsor, Connecticut. We are now ready for Exhibitor's Flock. Placing on the Exhibitor's Flock, first place goes to Madeline Syme, South Scotch Lane Farm, South Windsor, Connecticut. Second place in the flock to Rachel Gately, Pine Knob Farm, Somers, Connecticut. And third to Abby Parks, Leiden, Massachusetts. Now showing Breeder's Flock. Placing on the Breeder's Flock class, first place goes to Rachel Gately, Pine Knob Farm, Somers, Connecticut. Second place to Madeline Syme, Scotch Lane Farm, South Windsor, Connecticut. And our awards for Premier Exhibitor and Premier Breeder. Our Premier Exhibitor was Madeline Syme, Scotch Lane Farm, South Windsor, Connecticut. And our Premier Breeder, by 1 point, having to go to the seventh animal because it was tied up until then, is Rachel Gately of Pine Knob Farm, Somers, Connecticut. That does conclude our Pole Dorset show. We will be back in the ring at 12 noon with Katahdins.